Everybody, James here from Hamilton Bait and Tackle with a Tech Tip Tuesday. We're here at the house, came off the water, we fished a tournament in Saginaw Bay, and one of the baits that was key that I want to talk to you about today in the dog days of summer is this guy right here. Got a little hollow belly frog. Setup wise, it's pretty simple. I throw a 7'3" Pro Series favorite heavy. It's got some good tip, a little more parabolic than a really heavy flipping stick. A little bit shorter so I can work a frog, get it to walk, create a secondary action in the bait, which works out really well, trying to get, strikes when other guys are not. 65-pound vicious no fade braid and an 8-to-1 reel. Something I can get the fish on top really quickly, or I can pick up slack if I'm in open water situations around docks, which is where I'll throw a frog sometimes. Heavy cover, hard targets, primarily grass though. I want to get that fish on top of the water column and get them in as fast as I can so that they don't have a chance to get the frog out of their mouth. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I'm going to look for grass mats. I'm going to look for duckweed. I'm going to look for algae on top of grass. I'm going to look for milfoil. The sweet spots you're going to find are typically around bait or frylings. I'm going to look for bluegill activity, baby bass. I'm going to look for fish busting on top. I'm going to listen. You'll hear bluegill popping in the grass mats. So if you pull into a grass mat and you're hearing a constant clicking all around, it means there's bait fish in the area. Typically means there's bass in the area. So I really only use 3 colors. I use white, black, and a chartreuse bottom. That's it. White is probably 80% of the time. I'd say 70% of the time. Yellow chartreuse is going to be 20, and then black's going to be 10. There are certain lakes, for some reason, they key in better on a black frog. But for the most part, if I'm fishing semi-clear water, clear water, I'm going to a white frog or a chartreuse bottom frog. That's pretty simple, pretty easy. I'm gonna make a couple tweaks to this frog. I'm gonna tie a simple Palomar knot on the line, tweak the hooks out a tiny bit, and I'm gonna cut the legs to the front nose of the body. I will typically trim one leg a little bit shorter than the other. The reason I'm doing that is that, it doesn't increase the frog walking. What it does is it frees up the bait motion. So it's one of the things that I really like to do. I'm gonna fish it in a wide variety of scenarios, docks, rocks, riprap, areas a lot of guys aren't gonna throw them, but primarily what I'm looking for is matted grass with any sort of depth underneath it. You find milfoil, you find duckweed, you find lily pads, you can throw one of these in there and catch fish. First couple times when you go out there, you can slow crank it through and just let it do its thing. You're gonna get bites. You can also try to walk it and just chug it along the water. The one thing that I can tell you with a frog is going to be patient. You're gonna get bites on this thing and they're gonna miss it, and you're gonna get bites on this thing and you're going to try to set the hook way too fast. What you need to do is pause, count maybe 1/1000, wait to see if your line takes off or see if your frog's gone. As soon as I see that, I see movement in my line or I see a frog gone, I'm basically letting her rip. I'm gonna try to take both of these hooks in this frog and get him through the roof of this fish's mouth and try to get him in the boat. Get him up on top of the water column, keep pressure on him, and just grind him in. That's what I'm gonna do. So when you're out in this next month or two, these fish are gonna be either in grass mats or offshore. The fish that are up shallow, typically you can get to a little bit easier. You can cover some water and you can catch them on a frog. So as we go through the remainder of August, key in on these grass mats just because it's the shade that they're able to get to. Key in on them on sunny days. As you go into fall, the bait fish moves into them. So you can actually key in a little bit differently pretty much all the time, not just when it's sunny out. These fish are gonna go underneath there for cover. They use them as ambush points and that's what they're looking for. So today's Tech Tip Tuesday, brought to you by Hamilton Bait and Tackle, is about a frog. Reach out to them, hit them up online, hit them up on their e-com store, stop in by the store, grab some tackle, grab a rod, reel, or just stop and grab some frogs. I promise if you do this, if you get out there and try it, it's gonna take a couple times, but I promise you are going to catch a lot of fish. And this is the time of year going into fall where you can catch some of the biggest fish you've probably ever caught in a frog. It's a great time. Again, my name's James. I hope you guys have a great time and I'll see you on the water. Tight lines.